follow Facebook and YouTube. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Tell your friends about us. Word of mouth.
I think I put on that SoundCloud in like 3 weeks. I'm just
I
going to
know.
throw that out
I know
there.
that.
I'm just
Because that's how I used to listen to it, but now I don't listen to it.
What you mean? I be looking at the stats, and I might have one if I'm lucky, and then I had like two. I had zero for like I don't know how many weeks, and I was like, "Why am I wasting my time?"
Yeah, I watched a lot of it on YouTube for lately, but
It might be up this week. It depends how much I care. Y'all can start caring just hitting the like button. I'm just saying, lazy motherfuckers. Anyway,
this is the 4th year of the show,
that's fucking nuts.
right?
Fourth season.
4th season.
So 4 years, I guess. Yeah. It's gonna go into number 5.
We'll get into the playoffs, but unprecedented situation. Both teams in the playoffs, Cowboys and Eagles. We haven't had that in the first 4 years, so it's a young show.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't had that any of the 4 years.
I don't know what that says about either one of our teams, but
Well, first year neither team made it. I think the Redskins did, and then it was the Cowboys, and then the Eagles, and then both.
huh. Alright. I'll take your word for all that, because damn if I remember any of that. I don't remember Washington getting the win. How'd they do that?
Kirk Cousins. They beat the Eagles. They beat Sam Bradford on a Saturday night.
There's so much LOL in that. Alright.
I remember watching it.
I bet you do.
I think it was Christmas Eve.
I wouldn't know. I wonder how those quarterbacks are doing right now. They start for the Eagles, right? No. Sam doesn't.
So, before we get into sports, I felt it was necessary. Me and Gene, I need you to shout out, and I'm just gonna give you the floor because look, as much as I'm into wrestling and WCW was my thing.
He was definitely the voice of that.
For sure. But you are our voice of wrestling on this show, and I think that he deserves the first moments of it. So.
Yeah, shout out to Mean Gene. Very sudden. Still, I don't think it's come out any details other than he just passed away. I think it was 76.
Yeah. Yes.
I know. Who did I just see online say they actually saw him? A wrestler. I think it was Trish Stratus. Yeah, she saw him in November. I guess it was like a convention, and he seemed completely fine, completely healthy, and he was at a convention signing autographs and stuff. So. Who knows? I don't know. It might have been a sudden thing. It might have been something that people just don't know about, or we just ain't speaking on them right now. I don't know, but hands down, the greatest interviewer, more than anything, of all time.
Yeah.
No matter what company, and you can go back to when he started in the 70s, he became the greatest. And he was, even to this very day, every now and then he would pop up for a random event and do like a little brief one, and it was still like he's just a natural like interviewer.
He brought the energy.
Right, and he had a broadcasting degree, a journalism degree, I should say. So it was just a natural thing for him. He just had the voice, and he knew how to carry himself. And even like Hulk Hogan came out and said and tweeted out that when they used to do their famous "Let me tell you something, brother" or Mean Gene interviews or whatever, I guess Hulk was always like, how do you want to address this? Or Mean Gene would be like, how do you want to address this big guy? And Hulk would always be like, just gonna follow you. So I guess, during those, he said it worked from like this 2000, from like 1980 until 2000 whatever. So I guess that entire time it was basically just, this is the main topic, Gene's gonna just set it up however he's gonna set it up, and then Hulk's gonna do his thing. So it was just a perfect blend. And he worked perfectly with everybody. He worked perfectly with Flair, he worked perfectly with Savage, he worked perfectly with Hogan, and pretty much as anybody. He could make anybody seem bigger than they actually were just by his setup.
Yeah.
And just asking, like he would actually ask
he
questions.
He put you in the perfect position.
Yeah,
for your character.
Yeah, and it did come off as fake or corny. Like a lot of them, especially today. Like some of these are just terrible, terrible interviewers.
Yeah.
Like you can literally just tell that they're just
the worst smiles.
Just smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah.
Just the phoniest cookie cutter interview you can have. It's just I don't know. I just don't like it. I prefer a Mean Gene style where it's just it makes it seem legitimate because he was legitimate about the sport.
Yeah, he was the face of what you think of backstage interviews. I mean, when you never. I said about WCW was my thing. I mean, he was just like you said. He was a big part of that, and like that's just one of those. I don't know.
He literally was the voice of Nitro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he was right. Exactly.
Him and Heenan and today.
He was part but he was part of every step of what you saw. And it's definitely. I mean, wrestling in general in WWE is where everything is at now. Is all clearly way different, but
Warrior, Savage, Hogan.
Right.
Like, you name somebody, he interviewed them at some point somewhere.
And it's just, and he was incredible with all of them.
Definitely one of a kind.
Yeah.
That's a shame. He was a funny guy, actually. I don't know if you've ever seen him like outside, like do interviews or anything. Like he was actually, he was a dirty old man. He would always just make slick jokes and stuff. He was married, but he would make slick jokes, and he was a great storyteller. He had some of the best like wrestling stories. If you ever just want to hear a random funny or just a historical context interview or whatever, just a speech he has or story he has.
Historical, I guess.
Look him up.
I was searching for a word there when I was talking historicals. I think the best.
He's seen so much.
Historical is what he is. I mean, he's a legend, and that
a legitimate one too. Like they throw that around too much.
Right? No.
Wrestling,
But
there's a handful that you truly, when you think of wrestling, that's somebody you bring up.
Decades from now, he was somebody who will be talked about.
And he's immortalized. He's all over WWE
Network.
His face is everywhere. You can't watch a WCW pay-per-view or old WWF pay-per-view. He's going to be there. So his legacy will keep going, just like Heenan and Monsoon and all those guys as well. So that's a shame. 2019 definitely didn't start from a great start.
No, and
that's crazy.
That's why I wanted to bring it up right off the bat, because I know it's something that we both have connections to, and it's sad. So no good way to transition from that.
Nope.
But to football, to the NFL. The 1 o'clock games, none of them had any real importance. The only one I really want to talk about is the Dallas one. Only because you and I had conversation back and forth throughout the game, and you brought up a good point to me that I didn't even think about. If they would have lost, I thought that was kind of funny, because you're right. If they would have lost, that would have been horrible for the PR move. But
it would have been even worse.
My thought was just Dak playing. Now, I made a joke about Jason Garrett to you, but here... sitting on it for a couple days, my thought process on Dak playing, and you told me that Dak was the one who he decided he wanted to play, right?
They said it over the broadcast. And like the middle of the third quarter, they finally were like, well, Dak was extremely adamant that he should be playing throughout the entire game. And I was like, wait, first of all, why are we just bringing this up? Second of all, why does that matter?
Okay, that's where I'm at. Why does it? What does it matter what Dak said? Is he the coach? Who controls this?
I don't know his reasoning behind it. I have no clue.
You need to, as much as Dak wants to play, say, all right, I'll let you play the first quarter or the second quarter.
I was cool with a quarter or half at
pull
most.
Him out.
Yeah, right. Literally, when the third quarter started, I was like, he better not be. And he was out there. And I was
and
like,
they were winning
at
halftime.
Right.
So it would have looked good.
Right, it would have been like, okay, well,
and
whatever.
Everything was fine.
Nobody was worried about losing to the Giants at this stage when it means absolutely nothing.
Amari Cooper was in?
Amari Cooper was playing.
I don't understand.
All of our linebackers were playing.
I don't
all
understand.
Of our starters, other than Ezekiel Elliott, basically, and a couple of linemen.
Yeah, Zach Martin
which I think
play.
Was
that's
somebody
not,
hurt, or I don't remember.
Yeah, but that's not...
Basically, our whole team played, but a couple.
Okay, but my thing is, if your best offensive player and a couple of linemen aren't playing, that's not good. Like, you're still putting Dak in a horrible position, even though the Giants' defense is hard. And like when I say horrible, they are worse than horrible. They are bottom of the barrel bad last 2 years.
I mean, we've kind of gotten accustomed at this point, and we remember every year we would have this argument, and not even us, but I'm saying in general as we as football people. and we don't even really hear it as much because now it's like it's the opposite. Now it's, well, you can't. Why are you playing them? It was the whole don't rest people, just let them go.
Yeah.
Well, now it's the complete opposite. We're like, well,
Rest
why
them.
the hell? Why
are you playing them?
Well, at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So Peyton Manning, I had this conversation with somebody at work a couple days ago. Because they were like, yeah, the first person to do it was Peyton, and I was like, do you remember when they criticized Tony Dungy for sitting Peyton Manning? Because
It was not about him sitting. Either.
Weren't they 14-1 going into Week 16, and they had everything locked up, and they were the home field advantage. They had the week off the week after, and Tony Dungy said, I'm not playing Peyton Manning, and he got destroyed for that.
Yep.
And how the tide has turned where, I'm me, as somebody who does not want the Cowboys to win on Saturday, clearly, was saying, why is Dak Prescott out there? I didn't understand it.
How was it about it? I wasn't cool with it. I mean, we're not world beaters out here either at that, and like, we clearly sat our best player.
Okay, but that's the thing.
Once you also sit the quarterback.
But if you sit your best player and a couple of linemen, then that right then and there puts you at a disadvantage that I don't like. On top of the game itself, you could lose it because you don't have your best player and a couple of linemen.
I guess Amari Cooper ain't shit either. I
I just don't understand it.
But then I was just like,
why is Cole Beasley playing?
If you're gonna play them, then play everybody. I would still be mad, but
there's no
at that
reason
point, like, don't pick and choose at that point. It was stupid. Especially what pissed me off even more when Van Der Esch got hurt.
Why?
And then we kept. So we kept. Van Der Esch got hurt, right? Eventually he came back. That, and then I was like, as soon as Van Der Esch got hurt, I was like, well, okay, now they're going to pull Dak. Now they're going to pull Dak. No, they didn't. That was my main thought. I was like, now you have to.
Out the rest of the game, or did he come back in?
He came back in on a extra point or a field goal or something.
Why?
Apparently he was fine. He just got like a bruise or something, but still,
don't bring him back in.
I agree. I was like,
if he
why
just
is
got
he
a bruise,
out there?
great. I'm glad. Let's call ourselves lucky and send him to the locker room.
Right. So then at that point, pull everybody. No, instead they brought him back at one point and they let Dak keep playing.
Dude, I don't understand.
The
Giants.
I wasn't cool with it either. I literally sent you the shrug emoji. I was like, I got nothing. Like I don't want to argue this. I don't get it. I'm saying the same damn thing.
It was the Giants.
I was not okay with Dak being out there. And I could even accept and let slide our defense. Okay, fine. You typically don't see those type of players pulled. But you can't keep Amari Cooper out there. You can't keep Dak Prescott out there.
Man, pull the defense too. Who cares?
At this point, right. You should have just pulled everybody, but I understand it more so.
The best thing they have is that they are athletic in their front seven,
right.
And their secondary doesn't have to cover people for a long amount of time. So if somebody gets hurt in that front seven, and their secondary has to start covering people for longer amounts of time, that starts to cause trouble.
A potential rookie of the year candidate, NFL defensive rookie of the year, whatever the hell.
He's a top 5 rookie, and there's a lot of good rookies right now. He's a top 3 rookie probably.
He'd probably get rookie of the year on defense.
Yeah,
so
him or the guy from the Colts. Like, yes,
right,
I agree.
so,
they're both. It's one of those two.
So he's cool. Go sit down.
The rookies are I would say there's 6-7 rookies right now that are just. This might be the best rookie class after 1 year, after one season. I'm not saying ever, overall, careers wise. I'm saying after one season, this might be the best rookie class if you look at it. You have 2 linebackers at the top of tackling. You have a couple of good wide receivers.
I'm pretty sure was number 1. But
yeah, you have Lamar Jackson, who took his team to the playoffs, and he didn't play until week 11, and he broke the record for most rushing yards in a season by a rookie quarterback. You have a couple of good running backs. The guy from New England, Sony Mitchell, and you have another guy out in Cleveland. You have the quarterback at Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, who led them to all of those wins. I mean, you have the offensive lineman, Quentin Nelson. You have Saquon Barkley. You have Philip Lindsay, who unfortunately tore his ACL. But, I mean, we're talking, and now he was undrafted, but all those other guys I talked about are all guys drafted in the first round. It is an incredible. Well, other than all of them were drafted in the first round. But it's absolutely insane how great this year's draft was for the rookies after 1 year again. But back to the Cowboys in that game specifically. And And here's the thing that confused me. So, Eli for like a quarter and a half looked really good, right?
Why is he even playing?
Okay, I don't know. But
Whatever.
What did the Cowboys care to beat him? Who cares?
I mean, fuck Eli Manning, fuck the Giants. I get that mentality, but now's not the time to worry about that mentality. Even I was just like, I'm cool. I didn't even watch the game. I had Red Zone on, and we could watch the game, the whole game.
Yeah.
I was like, before the game started, I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch this. I was like, they're gonna pull Dak at some point. I was like, I have no desire to watch this. Last week of the season, I'm gonna watch Red Zone, whatever. This game means nothing. I didn't have it on. I was watching my Red Zone highlights, and then I realized we were still keeping Dak out there, and everything was going like that. And I was like, why is this the thing?
Do you think at any point Jerry Jones would have stepped in?
Apparently not. He was chilling up in the owner's box.
But before this game, do you think he would have said, "Hey, Jason, do we have a plan here?" Do you think he would have at least asked?
I assume he would have been the first person to say something. I assumed at one point he would have been like, "Yo, we gonna pull him at some point?" Nope, he was chilling up in the box. He should have asked beforehand, yeah, or at least like he shouldn't even had to have asked. Like
I agree.
I'm assuming a conversation was had amongst him, Dak, and Jason. And
but it just should have been him and Jason talking about all of the starters, not just Dak. I'm talking all of the starters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just talk about one of the guys. Dak is the most important one that we're talking about. Amari as well, those linebackers as well. But that's what I'm saying. There's multiple guys here. I want all of these guys out if I'm in that situation.
They were on the fuck the Giants kick, which I'm normally in on.
Not that.
Oh, they were. I agree. They were more concerned with sweeping another bum team in the division. I don't get it. It did benefit them. It just put us at a great risk. That nothing happened. Van Der Esch is cool. Dak didn't get hurt. Great. We kind of won, barely, sort of. I guess it worked out because now you don't got to worry about it. But it's whatever. I would have been a loss. It would have just been like.
If you had your best player, it probably isn't even that close. They were beating them by a lot at one point.
It's definitely not that close. And like I told you, because like we were winning at one point, now we're losing with Dak out there. Now that looks horrible. So now you back him into a corner. You're not gonna take him out now.
Now he has to come back and win it, and he did.
Oh my god. That proved nothing. They didn't need to prove that.
I agree. It meant nothing. If they didn't win it, it wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have came on the show saying, "Oh, it's so different." No, they were locked into the 4 seed.
I care enough about facing the Giants that I turned it off. That I didn't even have it on as the main game on my television. That's how much it didn't matter to me as a Cowboys fan. I was like, I don't care.
The 4 o'clock games were all meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Better than all the 1 o'clock blowouts.
We will get to the interwebs of what happened in Pittsburgh.
I bet.
But they won. They beat Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh having a Pittsburgh.
They're staring at the big screen with all the fans in the stadium.
That was adorable.
I thought it'd be for cool pictures.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was better when Baltimore ended up.
Baltimore was up by a lot.
Yeah.
Game gets close.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns have an opportunity to drive the ball down the football field.
The great Baker Mayfield.
Kick a field goal.
Mm-hmm. And what did Baker do?
Go 8-7-1.
I thought it was 7-8-1.
That's what they are now.
I thought they were 7-8-1.
No, they were 7-7-1.
Wow. Okay. So, is there a point to that?
He gets them about 10 to 15 yards outside of comfortable field goal range. 5 yards away from a long one. C.J. Mosley picks him off because he's short. He can't see over the line of scrimmage.
Because it's just not good.
I disagree. 7 wins. Fantastic season for them.
Fantastic, man.
After 0 wins last year.
You picking them to go to the Super Bowl next year?
No.
Like everybody else is going to.
No, but I think that they might make it.
They'll be the sleeper team.
9.
The sleeper team. Were
If
they the
could
sleeper
win
team this
8
year?
Yeah, and I think 7 wins is 7 wins is more than you and I were.
So they are going to the Super Bowl.
You and I laughed at the idea of them getting 7 wins, dude, and I am putting myself in that as well. But preseason, I remember asking you. I remember saying Dwight, because I remember everyone saying, "Oh, they could go 8-8," and I remember laughing so hard at that and being like, "Dwight, do you think they go 8-8?" And you said, "Absolutely not." And we were on the same page. I said, "Dude, 4 or 5 wins will be a good season." I said I would consider that a good season for the Browns. And you were like, "Yeah, I guess it'd be an improvement." And then you laughed and we moved on. They had 7 wins this year.
You know how much that does not impact me, and how I'm still saying, I mean, I guess that's an improvement. Like, I like,
Dude,
okay,
if your
cool.
Team,
I said, okay, cool. It's not that big a deal to me. It's just not.
how many wins did the Cowboys have last year?
I don't know.
5?
No, we did not have 5 wins last year.
7?
I don't know what we had last year, Jared Hood. I don't
Right,
remember
they had 10
this dumb
year.
shit like you do.
Okay, point is, they only could have had, 3, 4 more wins than they had last year or this year?
Okay.
The Browns had 7.
Okay. I don't care. Did they make the playoffs? Or are they going into the Super Bowl next year? Like,
No.
everybody, realize
No.
everybody's going to project that they are
Not
going
going to Super
to
Bowl
be
next
world beaters next year. Do you understand this?
Not going to
Because of this mentality? Because they went, okay, great. You want me to say congratulations? Congratulations, Cleveland. There. Now it's over. Can we move on?
We'll give. I want to give Pittsburgh the offseason because I want to figure out what's going on in Pittsburgh before we start talking about Cleveland in that division. And Baltimore, I think, is their defense is so good.
This is for you.
They're still probably the second or third best team in the division at best.
Well then, Mazel, they won more than I expected. Great, you shut me up. Except you didn't, because it's you're still Cleveland Browns to me. That's still a relevant thing. And guess what? You still Cleveland Browns this season because you still cost yourself how many games this season. You still had how many ties this season. You still marched down the field and threw an interception. You're still the Cleveland Browns
I
to
set
me.
this whole thing up for us to talk about how Baltimore wins the division, and we go on
it's still
Cleveland
the
Browns
Cleveland
back and
Browns.
forth because
You know,
last week
back
we
and
did
forth.
this as well.
Back and forth because they're still the Cleveland Browns. And he still pulled the most Cleveland Browns things in the most Cleveland Browns of situations. They don't deserve no credit. I take it back. They don't deserve no credit. They're still the Cleveland Browns doing dumb Cleveland Brown shit.
Who did I see?
Apparently they were supposed to win 12 games this year. The way that everybody's saying, well, they only lost this game by 2 points, this game by 1, this game by 2, this game by 2. That was a tie, but they could have won that. Dallas could have won all their games that we lost too, but the shit didn't happen. You still took an L. You suck. It happens. Moving on. We could have been the 1 seed, but we're not. We're in a wild card. What ifs? People, just relax. People lost their minds with Cleveland this year. It made me sick. I'm glad that they're not in the playoffs, so I don't gotta keep listening to this nonsense train. We'll see what happens next year, Maker Bayfield. That's a joke.
One of my friends, his girlfriend, her uncle is a huge Cleveland fan. He's from Cleveland, and he was at
Where my dog's at.
He was at his girlfriend's uncle's house on Sunday. They were watching all the games, and he said that when the Browns got the ball back, he literally turned to my friend and said, "I really hope they don't score because if they score, then Pittsburgh goes to the playoffs." And he goes.
Did I say that was gonna be worse?
He said, and we got 7 wins, so I don't need that.
Did I say last week that
it doesn't matter.
The playoffs would be worse?
And I agree. It doesn't matter if you win that game or not, because if you win that game, you would just win 8 games. What's the difference if you win 7 or 8 games? You still go to the playoffs. But if you win, Pittsburgh goes to the playoffs. You don't want that, and I agree.
No, you don't agree. Because I said that last week. You were like, well, Baltimore, because Baltimore used to be in Cleveland and all that, or the Browns used to be.
I thought they were still going to try. I said they were still going to try as hard as they possibly can. But as a fan, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's not what you want. But I still thought Cleveland was going to try as hard as they possibly can to win the football game.
Which is stupid. Baker shouldn't even been playing. Why was Baker Mayfield out there playing?
Because Cleveland was still trying to win the football game, even though you're right. The fans, you were absolutely right about
Cam
that.
Newton wasn't in the football game. Why is Baker Mayfield out there?
Because Cam Newton has a bad shoulder.
Well, Baker Mayfield has more of a ceiling and more of a future than Cam Newton right now, so the GOAT should be sitting down. He took him to 7 wins, Jarrett Hood. That's asking that they were projected to make.
You're right. Brady was up 31-3 and he wasn't sitting. The GOAT should have been sitting down.
Wow. The GOAT Baker Mayfield should have been sitting down.
Baltimore makes the playoffs. Lamar Jackson. Shout out to Baltimore, man.
I guess.
7-1 since he came back, or since he's been their starter.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Shout out to your favorite underrated, overrated quarterback. I mean.
Their only loss was to Kansas City.
So who's Joe Flacco playing for next year? Because they ain't Baltimore. I hate to break it to you.
It's going to be Tampa Bay or the Jets or, I don't know. I got 8 teams. I'll list 8 teams here in a little bit that need coaches. Joe Flacco and Le'Veon Bell will play for one of them.
It's terrible.
Right? Le'Veon Bell is going to play for one of the teams that need a head coach, and Joe Flacco most likely will play for one of the teams that need a head
I have
coach.
to go with Cincinnati.
Denver.
No, fuck that. Go with Cincinnati. No, stay in the division. Makes it funnier.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's where I think Joe Flacco's going. Denver.
Why?
Why not? Case Keenum.
So?
How good is Case Keenum?
Well, okay. How good is like a million other teams? Why Denver?
Because they need a quarterback. Not a lot of teams are going to lay out there for a quarterback this year. Not a lot of teams need a quarterback.
I'm sure a lot of teams could use Joe Flacco.
How many teams need a quarterback?
But I don't know. Would you like me to look at the list?
No, because like this is,
Oh,
I think that this is one of the better times for quarterbacks ever in the NFL. At least in our life.
Dolphins need a quarterback.
Mhm.
Bills need a quarterback.
Okay, Bills have Josh Allen. He's going to be in year number 2 next year. They love him.
Okay.
But the Dolphins, not bad. Flacco might go there.
Jets need a quarterback. Jaguars.
Jets like their quarterback.
Oh, whether or not they like him or not, that doesn't mean
He's a rookie. Sam Darnold's only going to the second year. He's their starter next year.
And that's a Jets move to pull somebody in to make a competition. What you mean?
I don't think they're going to do that. But
For the first time ever, okay.
I'll give you Jacksonville. So Jacksonville and Miami. I like
Giants
those
need
two.
a quarterback.
The Giants are sticking with Eli next year, supposedly.
They still need a quarterback. Cardinals need a quarterback.
Cardinals like their rookie.
Okay.
Sam Rosen.
Oakland needs a quarterback.
Oakland likes their guy, but if they trade him, then yes.
You can keep giving me these. Okay, you asked me to name teams and you tell me who likes who. I'm telling you who needs a quarterback. I ain't saying they like them or not. I can name player teams that need a quarterback.
I'm saying
whether or
teams
not
that
the teams want
realistically
them.
are going to go after a
For
quarterback.
Christ's sake, I don't know. Would you like me to pick up the phone and ask John Gruden?
Miami, and I think Oakland is a wild card in that for sure.
Cincinnati needs a quarterback.
Okay. And
Washington needs a quarterback.
in Washington might need a quarterback. Okay.
Okay, so that's like 5, 6 teams right there. I just said
4.
that need a quarterback.
Wow. You said like 8 need a quarterback.
And I'm not wrong on
There's
all
about
8
4 of them that are open to getting one. Okay, so Tannehill's going to go to one of those places. Flacco will go to another place. Tennessee, you don't know what's going on with
Tennessee
Mariota.
needs a quarterback. What? What's so funny? Did I say something funny?
Nick Foles. Could you see Nick Foles in Tennessee next year? Big Stick Nick. Taking over from Mariota.
I'm laughing so hard. I hope that happens, actually.
Tampa. I think he would look good in Tampa too. Don't you
Tampa
think?
really needs a quarterback.
He would look good in Tampa, but it sounds like Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson are leaving. It sounded like from
So is Jameis.
I heard
Patrick still might be there.
I heard a report the other day that for sure Deshaun Jackson wants out, but that Mike Evans.
Didn't he say that like 6 weeks ago he wanted out?
Yeah, but
Before the trade deadline, he said he wanted out.
Yeah, but Mike Evans apparently is talking to his agent sometime in the next week or so to most likely.
He's like, bro, you know how much money's about to be on this table?
Ask them if we could leave Tampa Bay.
So it's just gonna be Fitzpatrick and who? Fitzpatrick and friends. Is James gonna be there?
Yes.
Just knock it off. James is gonna be starting for the Tennessee Titans.
They got so much money invested in
That's
Jameis
about to be
right now.
that's gonna be a joke into the offseason. Who's gonna be the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans?
Ryan Tannehill,
Right.
Joe Flacco, Nick Foles.
Hey, Joe Flacco might not be bad actually. We're joking about that, but
Yeah, no, I agree.
Nick Foles. Oh damn, that's really funny.
Nick Foles is realistic for like Cincinnati, Washington, any of these teams that believe in their quarterback but don't believe in their quarterback want a shot at Nick Foles.
So all those teams I was or
Yes,
was,
yeah. The Raiders. You know, like they believe in their guy. They like him.
I think John Gruden. I don't know if John Gruden will go out there.
I don't think John Gruden
Foles,
likes his
nah.
quarterback. I think the rest of the organization likes his quarterback.
Well, supposedly they said John Gruden
I
was
want to get
all
back
about
to
him,
talking
and that
about the
was-
games, but I want to
Fuck those
actually.
games. What was John Gruden saying?
I don't know, but can I say something about the Raiders?
No, because I was saying John Gruden said that was his quarterback.
Yeah, he said it was the best quarterback he's ever coached.
Right. So no, it's him.
He could be lying.
Well, he was in the fucking bus with him talking. He knows how great he is.
He lied to management when he said that we probably got more than just first round pick from Dallas for Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack. Like he was like, yeah, we got more than this, and then he was like, we really didn't. What do I say?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what to do now.
Hey, so here's my thing with Oakland. They just hired Mike Mayock from the NFL Network.
Return of the Mac.
Do you know who that is, Mike Mayock?
I saw him talking about it, and I was like, who?
Okay.
Do I really care to know who he is?
He was an analyst on the NFL Network for a while.
I know that.
He announced Notre Dame games for about 4 or 5 years.
Of course you know that.
No, it was no good. Look, let me hit you with this. He was telling everybody, he was part of the Blaine Gabbert is better than Cam Newton back when it was those two up for the number 1 overall pick.
That's hindsight. Yeah, that's whatever.
Oh, dude, come on, man. At the time, and if we did a show, I was crushing him. I thought that was one of the stupidest things I've heard an analyst say.
I'll go back.
He might not be stupid, but I thought it was a stupid thing. There's a lot of things that he just, his analyzation of players, I just have not thought was all that good. So I think they may have made another wrong move. What's up with their owner just hiring TV personalities though? Guys who are on TV, he's like,
What the hell else does he do other than watch television? He don't pay attention to his team, man. He just flips channels and see. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
That's what I mean. Like,
Keyshawn. You need a job, Keyshawn? Oh wait, you got a job.
Michael
Keyshawn.
Irvin.
Michael Irvin.
I think Michael Irvin would be a much better GM than Mike Mayock.
I think it'd be entertaining as hell with Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin would be, he'd
be the GM with a cigar in his mouth and everything.
He'd fight some people.
That'd be great.
His own players.
He'd be better than Jerry Jones.
That's what they should do.
That'd be so entertaining.
The Cowboys need to hire Michael Irvin as their GM.
I don't disagree with that. That's fine.
And then fire Jason Garrett and make Troy Aikman the coach.
I'm also okay with this.
Boom! I would hate that because they'd be good.
I do what? I would be cool with Troy Aikman taking GM role or a coaching role.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good GM. I think he'd be better than John Elway.
He's not wrong.
John Elway has a Super Bowl, but it's only because he got lucky.
Troy at least knows what the fuck he'd be talking about. I'm just saying.
Back to these games. Speaking of Oakland, they got routed by Kansas City. Kansas City locked up the first team because of it. So, Philadelphia destroyed Washington. Felt good. Looked good.
Shouts to me for picking Washington.
Got all excited.
Because I had to pick one or the other.
I was more worried about Chicago, Minnesota than I was the Eagles game.
You got excited. You played a third-string quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
How do you get excited and felt good about?
Because the Eagles needed to win it. They ended on a good note. They 6 of the last 7, 5 of the last 6, something like that. Their only loss there was to Dallas, and if they make the extra point, they beat Dallas, and they most likely win the division at that point.
Yeah. If Baker Mayfield doesn't throw an interception, they might be an 8-win team, but shit don't work that way.
Well, no, I was just saying about the more so on the way they ended the season. I really thought that it was the defense for losing 2 cornerbacks played really well.
Don't read into that.
And a third.
Don't play into that. You played. Who was the quarterback for the Redskins?
I'm not just talking about this game. I meant, like I said, the 5 of the last 6 games is what I was talking about. Outside of that Dallas game, I thought that the defense played really well for losing all the secondary players they did.
Okay.
1 of their 2 safeties, 3 of their top 4 cornerbacks. It was good.
I wouldn't know. I didn't watch any of it. I saw Nick Foles got hurt for like the 12th time, and then he came back out. I was like, why doesn't he just stay down?
But the bigger thing was Chicago didn't pull their starters against Minnesota, and they beat Minnesota.
Thanks, Chicago.
Well, they didn't pull their starters because they still had technically a shot at the 2 seed, but then by the middle of the third quarter of their game, they knew they weren't going to win it.
So they pulled a Jason Garrett. That's what's up.
They pulled a couple of players, but they kept Mitchell Trubisky in.
I don't know. I don't get it.
So,
I guess that's just a cool thing to do now.
My thought on
cool
that.
Everybody but the quarterback now.
My thought on that was, and here, how do you feel about this? And I was talking to my cousin about this, and I was up in the air, and I think as an Eagles fan, this is how I had to put it, right? This would be like, and put yourself as Dallas. This would be like if you were playing the Giants, right? And it was if the Giants win, if the Giants beat you, okay, you're locked in. You can't go any higher or lower. If the Giants beat you, the Giants are in the playoffs. But if you beat the Giants and Minnesota wins, Minnesota's in the playoffs. Are you not still trying to beat the Giants? Probably, because we don't like the Giants, and we don't want to let the Giants in and then play the Giants the next week, and then A, maybe lose the Giants back-to-back weeks, but B, let a division rival in the playoffs.
I'd rather lose to a team that I think I can beat to. I'd rather let the team that I think I can beat into the playoffs is what I'm trying to say. So if they think they could beat the Vikings, because they should be familiar with the Vikings, they should have just let the damn Vikings in. And the Vikings are terrible, so...
Well, maybe they think the Eagles are terrible.
I guess so. They're not wrong for that either. I'm just saying, I would have thought they would have been cool with the familiarity because they play the Vikings all the time.
Okay, and like I said, I don't know how to...
And they were dominating the Vikings, so I was like, why don't you just go?
I talked to my cousin about... Like I said, I talked to my cousin about that, and I really had no idea which way I would want to go on it. Because for the most part, I think I would want to beat the Giants and play the other team in the playoffs. Because also, I don't think I want to let a team in the playoffs I don't think I want to be the team to let another team in the playoffs to play them the next week and then give them the opportunity to beat me in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But
if I can beat the Giants in the playoffs, that's even better now. So
either way, the Bears are a 12-win team.
If it's that terrible Giants team, I'm gonna be like bet. And if it's that terrible Vikings team, I'd have been like, okay, bet with the Bears. We have proven we can destroy this team.
It's a 12.
So just let them get in. They should just let them get in. They were so much more familiar with the Vikings. I did not understand.
I don't disagree with that.
I'd have been cool. I don't know. I guess I'd have to be in that situation. Didn't really tell, but I would be like, okay, no, the Giants suck. Let them get in. I don't want to play Green Bay, some team that's out of my division
and
who I barely see.
But that was my point. I don't know because I would
rather play.
I don't know if I would. I don't know.
I'd rather play it right now.
The other side.
I know I can destroy y'all.
The other side of this is, when you start breaking down the game itself, Chicago, Minnesota, with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the game, Kirk Cousins had 80 yards passing.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Just let this...
What?
We can beat this guy. Yeah, hell yeah.
What?
Yeah, let them win.
Dwight, he had 80 yards passing with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, and they were only down 8 at that point.
Why did they not just say, let this man win? Yeah, right. That's why I was more confused about it.
I think he ended up with like 140. But either way,
it's not going to get better in a week. Like, just go with that. Let them win.
All season long, I've been defending the fact that it's not Kirk Cousins' fault. This is the whole team thing, blah, blah, blah. The play calling's not been great, blah, blah, blah. And look,
it's all of it, and he sucks, Kirk Cousins.
The biggest game of the season, he had 80 yards with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go. I'm sorry. All season could be this, that, and the next thing. You didn't do it at that point. You had an opportunity to right the ship and not have anybody even think about it, and now your contract looks horrible. The whole thing is just up and down. The top 6 quarterbacks paid in the league didn't make the playoffs this year. Did you know that?
No.
Garoppolo got hurt. Carr from Oakland. Cousins is the highest paid. Rodgers. Who am I missing here? That's 4, right?
How's Breeze not one of the highest paid?
He's not.
He's not. Breeze is a top 6 paid quarterback.
No. Top 6 quarterback. Top 6 paid quarterback. All right. Now I'm gonna think hard on this.
I refuse to believe that.
No, you can look it up. Let's go here. It was Rodgers, Carr, Cousins, Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford.
So it's literally just a circumstantial thing, as in they've just been the recent ones with the contracts up. Okay, well that's a whole different thing than
Garoppolo.
Okay, yeah. Yes, okay, so that's why Drew Brees would not be in that situation.
Okay, but still, top 6 quarterbacks not paid, didn't make it.
I don't know. You still believe you shouldn't have paid those people? Because the answer is they should have. Yes. It's available. You need a quarterback, spend the money.
Speaking of teams who didn't sit their players in a meaningless game, Seattle couldn't go any higher or lower, and Russell Wilson played the whole game against Arizona.
Yeah, even though a week before it was already established that the Cowboys were going to play the Seahawks.
Arizona.
But but Dak did. Why is Dak out there? Why is Dak out there?
Oh, Seattle is just as dumb. We can spend as much time yelling at Pete
I'm
Carroll.
talking about television. All I heard about was Dak. Why is Dak out there? Why is Dak out there? He was not the only one.
Oh, no. Pete Carroll made some stupid moves, too.
Well, that's redundant, but yeah. I don't know. I don't get it either. And if you want to make the argument for Dak needs to be out there, fine, whatever. But you can't make the argument for somebody who went to a Super Bowl and is a proven quarterback.
No, Russell Wilson does not.
He does not deserve to be out there. Did he demand to be out there too?
Doesn't matter. Don't put him out there.
I don't disagree. I would have been cool with him getting hurt if that was the case, but
So Arizona,
there we are.
if Arizona loses the game, going into this game on Sunday, right, before the game starts, if they lose,
Yep.
they're the number 1 overall pick, no matter what.
Yep.
Seattle, if they win or lose, it means nothing. Okay, so all Arizona has to do is not win the football game. Seattle gives it so easy to them by playing their starters in a meaningless game. So now Arizona, all you have to do is just lay down. It came down to the wire.
These motherfuckers want to be competitive.
They didn't want the number 1 overall pick,
They
it seemed.
They did not.
They got it.
Yeah, barely, but yeah.
They lucked out that they didn't win that football game.
Who would have gotten it if it wasn't them?
Oakland.
I don't know. That would have been some shit.
Is it Oakland?
I don't know.
Jets, maybe?
That's just stupid. Like, you want to talk about owners not
Jets,
getting...
Oakland,
I don't know.
team like that, somewhere in that area.
Why the hell? They were trying to make it competitive.
Jacksonville,
They were really trying to.
maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just garbage. Let's say the garbage teams. I don't know. It's redundant. Why the hell was Arizona trying to win this football game?
You have number 1 overall pick. Take it. When's the last time you can remember the Arizona Cardinals have a number 1 overall pick? They're always like the 5th, the 8th, 17th, 22nd.
They need everything, literally, at
The
this point.
30th, maybe. Once. But other than that, they're always like somewhere between 15 and 5, right? They're never the worst team in the league, but they're never in the playoffs. They're the number 1 pick, and they tried to blow it. Yeah, they could draft anything, and they should get applauded.
I don't know. That's just so
Offensive
stupid.
line, defensive line, head
It's
coach.
so stupid.
How about, we're going to get into head coaches, but yeah, we'll get into head coaches. But Arizona needs aired out. They need talked about.
Stupid. What else do I need to say? Stupid as hell, man.
Indy beat Tennessee in the last game of Sunday night.
Did you watch that game?
A little bit, but I went to bed.
Nah.
I was tired.
I didn't feel like watching it. I was like, this is a damn shame. It's the last game of
It
the
was a
season.
good game when I was watching it, but I went to bed about half.
And he was like, this is it. Win it and get in. And I was like, this is the most non-consequential
I don't know,
winner and get in it situation you could imagine.
I mean, I like Andrew Luck, so I was in on watching it.
I mean, other than liking one player out of this entire scenario, I was like, this is the worst scenario we could have had to end this a regular season.
I
Other
wish
than
Mariota-
a Titans fan and a Colts fan and a random ass quarterback fan.
I wish Mariota would have been playing. I think it would have made it more interesting.
I was so uninterested.
And
I was
everyone's
like,
happy.
I was like, I'm curious who does get the
Right.
W, but I'm not curious
Because you
enough
get a
to
playoff
watch
spot.
it. I wasn't curious enough to see who gets it. I was curious to see after the fact. That's what I did.
Indianapolis
What a waste of space.
beat Tennessee.
Did they blow them out? I don't remember.
No, it was pretty close apparently
Was it?
until the fourth quarter. I mean,
Oh.
they ended up winning by I think 10, but
Yeah.
Indianapolis ended up on a roll to end the season. They have the last and final playoff spot. They are the 6th seed in the AFC. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
Before we talk about college football, I want to get into some NFL drama. let's go to the coaches before we talk about a team specifically.
Okay.
It didn't fire their coach, but I wanted to go in on Arizona. So there was eight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 8 coaches got fired. Most since 2016, I think, or 2011, something like that. 2016, I think there was 6 coaches, so I think it's 2011. Out of the 6 coaches that got hired in 2016, 1 of them remained. That's not good. That's an NFL identity crisis. And here's the reason I want to air out Arizona, and this is the reason I point out that stat, okay?
Jason Garrett still has a job. Anyway.
The reason I point out that stat, yes. The reason I point out that stat, though, is because I'm going to hone it into this. Arizona just had a one and done. They hired a coach for 1 year and fired him.
So fair.
After they drafted a rookie quarterback and made him...
Who was the coach?
He's a black guy.
Okay.
I don't know.
All of them were black. Breaking news. Was he out of college? That's my bigger question. Okay, never mind.
But my thing is so he gets Sam Bradford, doesn't get to play him because they want him to play the rookie, so he plays the rookie. They cut Sam Bradford halfway through the year. The rookie gets hurt at one point, so he's got to play like a nobody, and then he plays the rookie again when the rookie comes back. He leads them to nothing. Gets fired because he's working with nothing.
Because they tried to win that final game. That's why he got fired.
And the reason I said that stat about 2016, that's 3 seasons ago, okay? That happened between the 2 seasons. So it was 3 seasons ago. What?
Okay.
And only 1 of those 6 remain.
That's what you said.
These GMs are just not being fair to the coaches in general. And like I said, I honed it down on the one and done with Arizona because that's the best example. But overall, I mean, and don't get me wrong, the Jets, Todd Bowles is one of them. Did he have a good tenure? Absolutely not. He won 10 games his first year. He looked horrible the last 2 years. I won't disagree with that. And I understand that some of these are absolutely justified. But at the same time,
Some of these look absolutely horrible.
if you're not giving the guys the team or the opportunity to really put their stamp on it,
you gotta give it 3 years, minimum.
you can't hire a guy and then
Minimum.
fire him within that time frame. That's just not fair.
I give them the same thing I give the players, 3 years.
Yeah,
By year
cool,
3,
3 years, yeah.
after the year 3, you know what
I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, give them a chance, especially with these garbage teams that are always trying to draft somebody. Like, give them an opportunity, get their guys or whatever to sign their guys, all that nonsense. Let them do that. This is what you hired them to do. Giving them one and dones or 2 years, what are you proving other than your
And if you're a team like the Jets or
abysmal
Arizona
fucking organization that's always in this conversation,
or Cleveland or Tampa or Miami, who is literally all those teams, do we not say the Jets, Arizona, Cleveland, Tampa, Miami always in the conversation for needing a new coach?
they're always in the conversation for everything that is bad.
Okay, so, but if you hire a guy like Mike McCarthy, who they should, right? One of those
Somebody
teams
is.
would benefit from hiring Mike McCarthy. You got to give him at least a full 3 years. If you do not give him 3 years, you're not doing yourself.
He's going, yeah.
You're not giving yourself justification, though.
He's going to just because of his name value. So he's going to get the time that is fair to him.
But wouldn't he benefit more from like Cincinnati or Denver?
Why Cincinnati?
Because they have proven that they will absolutely give you time.
Oh, okay. I more so meant like team wise, but yeah, I mean as far as getting chances and shit, then yeah, I guess Cincinnati.
That's the best quarterback I think on the market. I mean, other than Green Bay, but he can't go back to Green Bay.
At this point, I don't want to go back to Andy Dalton. That experiment needs to go away. Just like
Jets have a young quarterback. I like the quarterback, Darnold. Arizona, Allen or Josh Rosen. Not sure what you're getting out of him.
Mike McCarthy is not going to put himself into this.
Well, the second-year quarterback.
He's not going to put himself in this recycle bin of these franchises that do this every couple of years.
Because then you have Cleveland with Baker Mayfield.
Not going to do that.
Then you have Tampa with Jameis Winston, or you have Miami with nobody because they're going to get rid of Tannehill. Then you got Cincinnati and Denver.
Jameis Winston is not going to be the quarterback. So
they already said Jameis was going to be the quarterback next year.
Because they said it?
I don't think it's the best idea to announce who your quarterback is next season, this season, but
okay,
that's
Mike McCarthy came in and said he's not our quarterback. Well, then he's not going to be the quarterback. He's not going to Tampa. But I don't. What the hell else did you name?
Miami. They don't have a quarterback. They're getting rid of Tannehill.
Unless he wants to build something from
Cincinnati and
scratch.
Denver. Denver and Flacco.
I guess Cleveland has the most upside potentially because they potentially might have something to build upon. Most of these other teams that you're naming might have a piece, or nothing at all. Cleveland at least has more than one piece that might be something to build upon if they get the right coach around that. Possibly. Everything else sounds like a rebuilding garbage situation.
I think the Jets, Arizona, Cleveland, Tampa, and Miami, I think all those teams need to go with a guy like McCarthy. I think they need to go with an experienced coach.
So literally all of them? Did you just literally name all of them?
No, because Green Bay, Cincinnati, and Denver. I think Cincinnati, Denver would be okay with getting like a Lincoln Riley. Green Bay, I think would be Lincoln Riley would be good with Aaron Rodgers, but
Cincinnati and Denver should be worried about just starting over.
Yeah, whoever comes into Cincinnati is probably going to get rid of Andy Dalton within a year or two, yes.
Yeah, it's just done. It needs to be done.
Maybe he'll go to Tennessee.
So Nick Foles for a year, and Andy Dalton next year, the following year.
Big stick Nick to the Red Rifle.
That's an upgrade, hey, that's a step up. Tennessee on the come up, tighten up. Maybe they'll update that tattoo finally.
So we'll get back to the coaches. We'll update the coaches over time as that starts to move along.
Man, don't these teams get tired of being the same damn teams in these conversations? Because I get tired of having the same conversations about the same damn teams, about these same damn situations. Like, get your shit together.
Yes.
At least Cleveland kind of is trying and has been trying. To their credit, they still Cleveland. They still suck, and we're gonna wait and see if it
First
has
steps in the right direction, though. Out of all these teams, yes, Green Bay, right. Cleveland, I think have the most upside.
There's no upside with Green Bay. You have Aaron Rodgers in the end. There's no upside there. So next, and that team is garbage, like I said it was. And when Mike McCarthy left, they continued to be garbage. Outside of just because you got Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean you got a great upside or a great situation, because that proved to be false. I'm glad to see that we proved that Mike McCarthy was the issue. By the way, I'm glad that they proved that. Oh wait, they didn't. Terrible. That's a terrible Green Bay Packers team. For Green Bay Packers standards, I'm saying, which is an unfair thing to say because they're usually right there. They're usually there. During our whole lives, they've been right there.
Favre and Rodgers had them in it.
Mm-hmm. Always. Even if it was like
it's like 93, 94.
Mm-hmm.
95-ish.
Not this team. This team is garbage.
Dwight. The Pittsburgh Steelers apparently had a fight at practice between Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown last Wednesday.
How do we get to the Pittsburgh Steelers and completely ignore the biggest coach getting fired out of that whole situation?
Who?
Marvin fucking Lewis is gone. What do you mean? You mean who?
Oh yeah, we should throw a party.
Wow, he really was just going to gloss over that.
Alright, so
you were really about to just gloss over the fact that Cincinnati Bengals,
I will give
the
you
worst
that for 4
damn organization
for 4
in that
years.
whole damn fucking conversation,
for 4
that
years,
needs to be roasted more than the damn Arizona Cardinals need to be roasted.
I will give you that for 4 years on this show.
And you were just going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I ain't nobody worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, we'll get there. For 4 years on this show, at the end of the year, right around this time actually.
It's supposed to be a celebration. My man forgot about the party.
When we're talking about the teams that fire coaches, right?
It's supposed to be a turn-up celebration.
We always throw in the teams that should fire coaches, and the only team we ever say is Cincinnati.
Oh, Lord. We do.
Which
is why I can't believe you almost forgot about it.
Well, we can get rid of that segment this year. We don't have to talk about the teams that have to fire their coaches because Cincinnati fired their coach.
After giving him a contract.
Well, man, we roasted that so bad last year.
We wrote, and it was
multiple times. It wasn't just once. We spent 4 or 5 different shows talking about that conversation.
You had your opportunity, and you signed him to an extension. So then now you're just going to continue to pay him for how many years because you decided you were
Maybe
just
their
gonna...
owner watches JD Sports and was like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have done that." And then at the end of this year, he was like, "All right, I'm just gonna sneak this."
Yeah, he's right because it's so much better just to sign a contract and then cut somebody and then have to continue to pay and fulfill that contract. That's
he tried to pull the sneak diss.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
that's what's up.
It backfired because we're still talking about it.
And well, you were trying not to talk about it for some reason, but
right.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to talk about it. How long was he there? 25 years?
15 years?
17?
Is it 17?
No, it's not that long.
I think Belichick's 17. I think he was 15.
That's absolutely... You realize that's like a whole adult life,
yeah,
right?
He could almost drive. His career could almost drive.
I just...
0-8 in the playoffs.
0-8. He got there 8 times.
I think it was like 144 and 137 in 4. 4 ties. 3 ties.
No, that's it, only 3.
One was against the Eagles. That was the one that McNabb didn't know that you could tie. So he was just running the ball with 30 seconds to go, and I'm screaming at my television.
You got a team like the Arizona Cardinals giving a guy 1 year. This man had how many?
Marvin Lewis, next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
You know what? I won't even be mad at that.
Andy Dalton.
That's fine.
From Arizona.
That's fine. You think Andy Dalton wants anything to do with this man?
Yes.
You think Baker Mayfield hates that guy? Let's ask Andy Dalton how he feels about Marvin Lewis.
So you were talking about how Cincinnati might hire Hugh Jackson. Could you imagine Baker Mayfield twice a year playing Hugh Jackson for the next 4 years?
Oh my God! First of all, that is the most ridiculous inside job of all time. First of all, that shouldn't even be a thing. Why is that okay? Why is it okay for the Cincinnati Bengals to say, "Oh, we're gonna bring in Hugh Jackson now"? That's not okay. That's not acceptable. Why?
Assistants.
Why? First of all, they should... It looks like the inside job on the part of Marvin Lewis. But the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals are actually considering, or they are in fact going for that, why? On the basis of what? And Cleveland's like, okay, go right ahead.
Take them.
What? On the basis of what? Because they're nice. Because Cincinnati... Who is the owner of Cincinnati Bengals? They got this thing with black guys who are nice guys. They need to just knock it off. Because they're nice, friendly guys. Good for them. Great. I'm glad you like to hire black coaches. I applaud you. Other than that, why the hell is this a thing? I don't care if he was purple. Because they're friendly? It's not because they're not any good.
Well, he was a good coach in Oakland.
How long ago was that? And why does it matter right now? You didn't do shit with Cleveland. I'm supposed to believe that you're somebody special?
He was a little smug at Cleveland.
Oakland was so fond of you, they got rid of you too. You've had 2 teams get rid of you, so you must not be that amazing. Maybe you can be a coordinator somewhere. Marvin Lewis. Why the hell is Hugh Jackson a great fit all of a sudden for Cincinnati? And I know a Cincinnati Bengal fan, more than one, and they are not happy about this.
Oh, no.
This fucking news, because it's really, we finally got rid of this one garbage coach, and now you're telling me we're going to have the Cleveland Browns coach?
I don't think anybody wants Hugh Jackson.
Nobody should want Marvin Lewis either.
I agree with that.
He can go be a coordinator somewhere.
Arizona's going to want him.
He can go be a coordinator somewhere. I don't understand. He must have been content on just being comfortable. He was cool being comfortable.
Marvin Lewis?
Yeah, he didn't give a shit about winning. He didn't give a shit about he was just cool.
His organization never really tried to get better.
You know what? He was doing what he wanted to do. He had a job, and he was getting paid.
The Bengals never seemed to try to get better.
How? And if they want to go with Hugh Jackson, that's clearly going the same direction. I don't get it. Hugh Jackson don't necessarily deserve that opportunity.
The Pittsburgh Steelers last Wednesday had a fight at practice. Antonio Brown reportedly threw his football at Ben Roethlisberger and then stormed off the field. And apparently he told his agent that he feels like Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin are too aligned and that Tomlin never takes AB's side. blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Doesn't show up Thursday for practice. Or no, it happened Thursday. He doesn't show up Friday for practice.
Okay.
Comes to the facility Saturday, which is only walkthroughs.
Mm.
Apparently has a conversation with Mike Tomlin. Now, the way that Mike Tomlin said it after the game, before I say how Mike Tomlin said it, the way it was reported before Mike Tomlin talked was Antonio Brown was told he was going to sit for a quarter or a half, and then he told Mike Tomlin he's not playing then. The way Mike Tomlin says it happens is Antonio Brown told him on Saturday at walkthroughs the reason that he missed practice is because he was injured, and he was not playing because he was injured. Either way, halftime of the game on Sunday, Antonio Brown left the locker room and did not come back. He never dressed for the game. He was in a fur coat on the sideline during the game. I don't know what happened at practice. I don't know the dynamic between quarterbacks.
Yeah, because this is so different from what they were saying, like, during the game and even shortly after, not counting Tomlin's comment that I didn't listen to, but so I don't even know how I feel about it now. Because I was just under the impression they just weren't playing him because they were mad he didn't show up to practice. And I was just like, well, how stupid is that? Your playoffs are on the line. Like, I don't give a damn.
Oh, no, it's a lot more than that.
I don't give a damn. Right, so now I'm just like...
Antonio Brown has reportedly requested a trade as of New Year's Day.
So him and Le'Veon been kicking it lately, I see.
I don't... Now, that has been denied by the Steelers. The Steelers say that that's not true, but I don't know what is true and what is not here. I can tell you that if Antonio Brown did do all of that and not play on Sunday, it better be a damn good reason. Or else he just up and...
Yeah, I can't... Yeah, I don't...
Or else he just up and quit on his team. And if he just up and quit on his team,
I don't believe that.
he can never go back to that team.
Nah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't believe that, though. Nah, I refuse to believe that.
I'm not saying that's what's true. I'm saying that's what the reports are. This is what I've read.
Right.
This is what I've heard. I've read it and I've heard it different places.
Yeah.
I heard it on the radio a couple times, and I've read multiple articles that are all saying these things. But again...
we gonna have to find out more on this. I don't even...
Antonio Brown's track record isn't great, but neither is Ben Roethlisberger's.
Neither is Pittsburgh's right now.
The whole thing is a mess.
This
But
whole
could you
season's
imagine-
been a mess. This whole season has been Pittsburgh.
Could you imagine, last year, the season ended, you had Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Going into next year, you might just have Roethlisberger out of those three. That would be horrible.
That'd be hilarious.
Juju Smith on the other side is special. I think we can all agree with that.
He's alright.
I think he plays pretty well. He plays really well.
He's alright.
His numbers were incredible this year.
I don't care if he's leading the league in everything this year. He's... what do you want me to say? He's the greatest thing of all time?
No.
Okay, well, then I'm not going to.
Ben led the league in
He's
yards this
He's
year,
alright.
and they didn't make playoffs, so...
Well, there you go. I refuse to believe it. I need to hear more of that story. I don't even want to try to comment on either side now because I have no clue. I need to hear more of this story and find out what actually happened.
Well, I think over time and over the offseason, we will find out.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight,
Yep.
before we go back to the NFL, a little bit of college football to talk about. Not that I want to.
Y'all won, right? It's like Christmas on Saturday or some shit. Well, y'all were at least competitive, right? Took it in overtime.
I didn't take it to overtime. They were competitive until the third quarter.
Scoreboard.
Yeah, it did not look good.
Okay, so it was competitive. What was the score? Y'all put up 3 points, didn't you?
Yeah, 30-3.
Hey, look here. There's some teams in the NFL that only put up 3 points this weekend, so y'all got a chance.
No, they don't.
No?
No.
I try to give you some hope, bro.
No, Notre Dame lost.
I know, I'm saying there were some teams in the NFL that only put up 3 points. I mean, if they can do it, y'all can do it too.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's alright. So it's acceptable. You like an NFL team. You can put up 3 points. In the biggest game of the year. On the biggest stage. Go Irish.
Trevor Lawrence played well.
Terrible. Ain't nobody played well when you put up 3 points. Not gonna.
No, it was for Clemson.
Wow.
Their quarterback.
That's even better. Come on, I know you all up in your feelings. I just pissed you off. That's fine. Go ahead.
No.
Because I think it's funny.
No, they got smacked. It didn't, I will continue, and I said it last year, and I said it the year before at the end of the season, and every year the season ends without a championship, I will continuously say that they most likely are not going to win a championship until Brian Kelly's out of there. Like, he's just not the coach to do it.
So it's just the coach's fault?
No. But I will tell you that Notre Dame actually was playing pretty well, and then I don't know what's up with that stadium. AT&T Stadium, my team's getting reviews not going their way when it's clear that the review should have gone their way. And that's not even just me saying that. Like, Twitter blew up, and non-Notre Dame fans were like, that was clearly Notre Dame's football. But either way...
3 points is 3 points, bro.
Well, it was 3-3 at the time, and Notre Dame got the ball at the 10, and things just went downhill after that. Clemson goes on a 90-yard drive, and I said right then and there that you got to stop the bleeding, and they just never did. But not just this game, because everyone's trying to microcosm it down to this game. When I'm talking about Brian Kelly, I'm talking about all of the big games. He's got to be like 4-11 in his 15 biggest games, and about 8 of those 11 have been blowouts. They just get suffocated sometimes by other teams, and that in and of itself is always coaching. Something happens like that. It's one thing in all of these games that I can always point to that Notre Dame's in it, Notre Dame's in it, Notre Dame's in it, Notre Dame's in it. One thing happens, and that's it. They never recover from it. That is coaching. They never make the adjustments. They never have the bounce back. Sure, I will give you the 1 point loss to Georgia last year. Super impressive, awesome. But like other than games, they got smacked by Miami though. Okay, so like I'll give you the Florida State and the other time they played Clemson. Like both of those games were within 3 points. Both those teams are national championship teams, and Notre Dame almost beat those teams. Like they were within 3 points of both of those teams. But at the same time, like. There's out of all the other losses they've had under Brian Kelly against top 5 teams, though, it's just been 30 to 3 wins. I mean, and he's an offensive guru in the national championship. That we're talking the 2 biggest games here: the national championship game against Alabama, where they lost 42-14, and then the Clemson game this week they lost 30-3. So like he's the offensive guru, and they put up a combined 17 points in those 8 quarters. Not great. I will give you that 2012 team is not this team. This team's offense is way better, but that's actually like even more concerning that they only put up 3 points with a better team. Yeah, I mean, I will always. There's too much. I've seen enough. His ceiling is what it is, and he has brought Notre Dame to a step that they were not at in my lifetime. Like Lou Holtz left in 1993 or 1994, so sure I was alive by then, but like. They were at a different level then. They have not been to that level since, and they have gotten back at least into the conversation. They are a top 5 to 10 team every year. And most of the time, they are in the top 5. This year, they were in the top 4, and that's what you need to do to get in the playoff. They are talented enough to consistently get themselves in that position. You got to be able to beat Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban, who are next-level coaches.
Might as well just not even get there if you're just gonna keep showing up like this.
But and I don't disagree with that. But as long as Brian Kelly's the coach, that's how it's going to happen. Because Dabo Swinney is going to outcoach Brian Kelly most of the time. And if you beat Dabo Swinney, your reward is playing Nick Saban, and Nick Saban is going to outcoach Brian Kelly most of the time. I get it. I hate to say Urban Meyer is one of the only coaches that can stand toe-to-toe with those guys, because I don't want Urban Meyer to come be Notre Dame coach. But point being is like outside of a guy like Urban Meyer, I don't know what you're going to do to get the right guy in there.
He's done.
Yeah. At 54 years old. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's done. Until the
Notre
Dame job opens up.
I'm pretty sure I'm done.
Until the Notre Dame job opens up.
I love how his wording kept changing on that shit, though.
I saw a funny meme the other day. It was because the Miami coach retired, and it was like 2 days before the Rose Bowl, and it was, this is Urban Meyer the second the Rose Bowl ends running to Miami, and it was like just a picture of Urban Meyer on Forrest Gump's face, and it was just Forrest Gump running across the country, because like, Urban Meyer's going to run to the best available job soon.
As he probably should.
And, like, I was laughing. I was like, oh, no, Notre Dame's opening up. At the same time, Urban Meyer's not a head coach. This is very unfortunate for me because I don't like Urban Meyer. So, like, I'm just going to go from a guy I don't like to another guy I don't like if that's what happens. I'll be very frustrated. But Urban Meyer...
You're going to be frustrated if you're actually out here competing now.
Okay, and I will give you that Urban Meyer at least Brian Kelly's not going to compete with Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban. Urban Meyer at least will do that. So, yeah, sure. Will I be happier? Yes. Okay. But...
And Notre, put up just 3 points.
And Notre Dame is in a class that they were not in before Brian Kelly got there. And they're in a class that honestly I didn't think Brian Kelly would be able to get them to. So I will give him the kudos and the credit. He has exceeded my expectations and probably most people's expectations. And honestly, he's probably cemented in as one of those. He's not on the Newt Rockne, Lou Holtz level or whatever, but he will be forever known as doing something special to the program. As much as I will, I knock him and whatnot, like I understand where his place is going to fall. Even if he doesn't ever win a big, national championship or anything like that. But that's why I'm kind of cool with his time being now because I've seen his ceiling. He's not he's not going to do those things.
How long has he been there?
Oh man, 2007. He's been there for a while.
Years,
I mean, we're 2008, 9, maybe at the latest 2009.
At this stage, you've pretty much seen what you're going to see now.
He's had more than two full classes come through, 4-year classes come in and out. You know what I mean? So like what you're getting here. And don't get me wrong, he has had 2 runs at the national championship. One at the national championship and the other one in the playoffs, and he was 1 step away from the national championship. And Notre Dame is so much closer than most teams. I mean, I understand it. Like I fully get it. But
so what do you want? You want somebody to take it to that next level, but you're probably not going to get it. So you should probably just accept what you got. Probably.
But stop trying. Stop. No, but you know what you're getting out of Jason Garrett,
right?
Right. You know what you're getting out of Jason Garrett, though, right? And he's not going to do it, right?
Well, he just doesn't do anything in general.
But he gets you to the playoffs. He got you the NFC East championship.
This is such a horrible comparison. Okay. Stop
okay.
reaching. Stop reaching. That's not a good comparison at all.
Have the Cowboys not, outside of the years that their best player has been hurt, a la Tony Romo and Ezekiel Elliott, right? Okay. But have the Cowboys not been competitive in Jason Garrett's entire career as coaching? When Ezekiel Elliott was hurt, no. And when Romo was hurt, no. But when Romo was there all those years, were they not competitive and fighting for the division?
I'm not going with this really bad comparison. I'm just not going with it. This is a really reach of a comparison.
I'm not saying Brian Kelly is Jason Garrett. I understand he's much better than Jason Garrett. I do think he's much better than Jason Garrett.
Stop comparing the two. We're not talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Stop with this whack, bad, terrible comparison. Stick with your Notre Dame football team. That you should just be happy that you're in this position. Because chances are, if he goes away, guess what? Chances are, I understand that. But chances are, you're not getting Urban Meyer, so chances are you're only going to get worse. So chances are you should just accept this.
I have no idea. Everyone's trying to say they're going to get Urban Meyer because now Tampa Bay.
Okay, so what if you don't? So what happens?
I don't know about that, but Tampa. Now see here is.
What happens if you get somebody else and he does abysmal and takes it back to where we're not even in the damn playoffs no more?
Let me give you this. Notre Dame's not firing Brian Kelly. Notre Dame will not fire Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly will have to leave Notre Dame for an NFL job, and apparently the Tampa Bay Bucks would like to interview him. I'm not sure what's going on there. That just came out yesterday or the day before. But Brian Kelly will have to leave on his own. They're not going to kick Brian Kelly out of Notre Dame anytime soon, at least.
Y'all should probably just be happy with what you got.
Notre Dame is happy with what they got. I'm not.
And they're not necessarily wrong for this. I understand. You wanted to go to that other.
They're not wrong for
this.
You're
not wrong for that.
And Notre Dame.
You're probably gonna regress. You will probably regress if you don't.
They've lost 3 games in the last 2 years. I understand that outside of the year before that, I think out of 6 of the last 8 years have been 10+ wins. It has been fantastic. That's what I try to portray that I understand that. I just don't. I won a national championship.
You just got a Super Bowl. Fuck off. There, I said it. Shit.
2 different things.
Well, my point, Jason Garrett comparison. Two different things.
I'm excited for the national championship on Monday. Bama ended up winning the second game. Not that we need to talk about any of that. They blew out Oklahoma. Oklahoma ended up making it. I think a 12-point game was what the final was, but it was like 31-0 before halftime. Alabama was blowing them out, or 31-7. I think it ended up being like 48-31 or something like that. Mm. But they were destroying them before.
You don't want to talk about it? No.
Huh?
I was asking that fan base if they want to talk about it.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh.
JR, you want to talk about it?
Oh.
Yeah, you can't have that. You can't have that.
I mean, no, just like Notre Dame, I don't necessarily think that we need to base the whole entire season off of one game the way that people are trying to base Oklahoma and Notre Dame's entire season off of one game. Just like Georgia lost their bowl game. I don't think you need to base their entire season off of it, etc. UCF, and we can go on and on. But point being is it doesn't look good getting smacked like that on the national stage. I don't think I'm rooting for either team because I like Nick Saban. I have respect for Nick Saban, I guess. I like Dabo, the coaches. I'm a fan of both teams' quarterbacks, and I respect both of them. I think that both teams have good defenses. What I'm mainly hoping for on Monday is a good game. If I have to pick who's going to win, I mean, come on, Bama, clearly. Everyone's going to say that. I'm not jumping on a limb here. I'm not trying to jump on a limb here. I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson won. This is the fourth time they have met, okay, in the playoffs. The playoffs are only 5 years old. So it's pretty cool that they've played this many times. A lot of people think that it's bad for college football. I think it's great for college football that these two teams keep finding themselves in the playoffs because the other three games have been really good games. I'm not saying that this will live up to the other national championship they played in, but the other three games have been good. And I think that this one has the potential to be good because both teams are, I think they're evenly matched for as good as Alabama can be at times. I think Clemson is pretty dominant. I've been saying that all season that I thought Clemson was the only team that had the same talent as them, and I hope it turns out to be that way. Like I said, I'm picking Alabama, but I think that it could go either way. It really could. Clemson is missing their
30-point game, I guess.
Clemson is missing a defensive tackle who is one of their better players because he failed a drug test for.
Stop smoking the weed.
No, it was PEDs.
Oh, well, who gives a shit about that?
I think they're all doing PEDs. I think he just took the wrong one.
Yeah, who gives a shit? That's basically the weed category. Who gives a shit at this point?
But yeah, so I'm taking Bama.
Okay.
Excited though. It's gonna be a good game. Before we pick the playoff games, Dwight, quickly. Coach of the year. Before the season, I said Bill O'Brien. I think you could throw him in there, the Houston coach, for what they did. I think they had a pretty good season. But Andy Reid or John Harbaugh, I think those guys have... John Harbaugh, what he did, I think, honestly, if you want to give it to the Ravens head coach, I think that's probably... It's one of the most impressive coaching jobs I might have ever seen. Benching a Super Bowl quarterback who got hurt, but never bringing him back and sticking with your gut with a guy who people were saying should be a tight end before the season as your quarterback. Going 7-1, the defense doing the things they did. I really think that he deserves it as much as anybody.
Sure. I don't know if I really have anybody above anybody really. I'd say there's probably three.
I think Sean Payton and Andy Reid deserve to be in this.
Yeah,
getting the number one seeds.
Yeah, they're in there.
It's just expected for them to have their teams win 10 games. That's not always fair to them, but they won 12, and they were impressive all season.
They're in there. Bears coach might be in there.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Nagy, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Belichick's probably in there.
Yeah.
Just by default.
Okay, but... The
Chargers coach is probably in there.
You could make an argument that Belichick has had one of his best coaching years ever because this is one of the tougher teams he's had to get to this point, and they are still a number 2 seed.
Rams coaches in there. Like, there's so many to probably throw in there.
Okay, yeah. I don't think... And the thing with McVay is, since what they did last year and winning it last year,
he won't get it again.
People aren't even yeah, okay, for sure. And the way their season ended with losing 2 of their last 5 games, it's not as whatever to everybody. But yeah, I think all those. every team in the playoffs, I think, could have an argument for their coach
literally.
did something special to get them to the playoffs this year.
Except Jason Garrett and whoever coaches for the Eagles.
Peterson?
Yeah, that's a no and a no.
What about Wright for Indianapolis?
No. Or Houston.
Bill O'Brien, really? I think Bill O'Brien, they won 10 straight at one point. They ended up with 12 wins this year.
No.
They almost had the 2 seed.
No.
Wow.
I'm glad you picked them to beat the Colts.
I picked Clemson.
Wow. Really? They were almost a 2 seed. Really? Oh. Alright.
Who's your MVP?
Breezes.
I got Patrick Mahomes, but we've talked about this all season. We can go with
They're not going to give it to... I don't think they're giving it to Breeze at this
Oh,
point,
right.
really. They're not giving it to Breeze at this point.
Patrick Mahomes is one of only 2 quarterbacks to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. The other quarterback is Peyton Manning. Only 4 quarterbacks have ever thrown for 50 touchdowns. Peyton Manning, Breeze, and Tom Brady. So Patrick, like to put yourself in that category.
I just can't see
Everything
him
that
doing
he's done, 50 touchdowns in a season is almost MVP lock. Is why I would say Mahomes. But we talk about
Rookie of the year.
But we talk about it all season though. You could talk Todd Gurley or even Aaron Donald, or I would be okay with Drew Brees. Like I'm like there's a couple names out there that we wouldn't even be against. Comeback player of the year got Andrew Luck.
Okay.
Offensive player of the year I do got Drew Brees because Patrick Mahomes had him as the other one. But there's a couple names. Defensive player I took Aaron Donald.
Offensive player of the year, give it to Gurley.
See, and I think Todd
Gurley
Gurley
should get something.
Yeah, I agree.
He
Todd
needs
Gurley,
something.
and I hate that Phillip Rivers. Man,
I'm glad you said that. Finally.
he deserves to be in all those conversations as well. He had an amazing season.
That's big of you. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of you.
it is what it
Baby
is.
steps you're working on. Next year you're gonna think he's the GOAT. I'm proud of you.
No, never. Let's talk about the games. Dwight, Saturday.
Yep.
For the first time in show history, we're playing on playoffs same weekend together. This is insane. I'm excited. Excited for the show.
Because we both suck because we're in wild card weekend.
All season we talked about how bad our teams were, and somehow
Both these teams made it in.
we're here.
Mm-hmm. Only one of us is legit.
Ish. First game, Indy Houston. Who do you got?
Colts.
I took the Colts as well. I think both defenses are good. I think both quarterbacks are good.
I think the Colts because someone has to win. You can't end on a tie, I think.
I really do. I like both teams.
Can't end on a tie. What did they do?
There's no tie. They just keep playing.
I kind of figured, but I don't know.
No tie.
Well, that's why I had to pick somebody.
They'll just keep playing quarters, 15-minute quarters.
Oh, Jesus. Could you imagine that? That would be funny. Cut into my game now. Actually, be on a different network, so I'm cool.
I took the Colts. I think it's awesome, though. I think both teams are really good.
But the Texans were almost a 2 seed. Oh my God. Coach of the year.
Andrew Luck is playing at a ridiculous level right now.
But they were almost a 2 seed. The Texans. You understand that? And they got
Since-
a coach of the year.
I would say since about week 6, he is a top 3 quarterback, Andrew Luck.
Just don't get you, man. I don't know. You're sleeping on the Texans.
I'm not. I think they're good. I just think Andrew Luck is playing a little better.
Okay.
Seattle, Dallas, in Dallas.
Game of the weekend, huh?
This was tough.
This is the team I did not want to face.
I think Seattle has a lot of good tangibles.
And by team, I meant Russell Wilson.
They have played really well, mainly Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Especially since about week 10. He has played extremely well. I mean, we talk about people, not being named in the MVP conversation. Russell Wilson carried his team to this playoffs. I think we can all agree that.
Literally.
I always laughed at his stat last year. out of their 2018 touchdowns, 27 of them came from him. Like, that's not this year, but still, like, that's a great definition of Russell Wilson in the Seahawks' current era.
He's got to be so mad.
And he's got to go to Dallas now against a good defense, while his offensive line is still really bad.
Yeah.
They ran the ball well this year, though. That has been the difference of this year than last year.
We got a great run defense, so.
But I don't think Seattle's overall defense is as good on the road as... Like, their numbers have just not been all that great overall, and it seems to be weighed down by the road numbers.
Mm.
Who you got this week?
Cowboys.
I got the Cowboys, too.
Zeke Elliott should run all over them and just absolutely... We should dominate time of possession.
These two teams are mirror images of each other. They're going to both try to dominate time of possession in this one.
Seattle, I just don't... I think our defensive ends and our linebackers, I think we're going to be chasing Russell the entire game. I think literally he's going to be running the entire game. The worst thing about this is that he's the last person that we want to be running out of the pocket and still making completions because that's what he does. So this is why this is a crazy matchup because, like I said, I think we're going to be chasing him around all game, which you would hope is going to, make it so that he makes mistakes, but he's Russell Wilson. He doesn't make those mistakes that often, so he might end up doing better by running out of the pocket.
I think it's going to be a good game.
Oh, man,
I'm not rooting for Dallas, but I do.
Yes,
I pick them.
All you Eagles fans are in the closet fans. All y'all want to talk to me all week about how the Cowboys are doing.
No.
We already established Eagles fans are in the closet Cowboys fans. Y'all talk about us more than you talk about yourselves, which is amazing. But y'all do it.
I don't. Maybe on the show we do.
You should just spend a day spend a week with me without wearing any Eagles gear whatsoever. Do not bring up football. Do not bring up the Philadelphia Eagles. And I promise you will hear more Eagles fans want to have a conversation about my Dallas Cowboys than you will Eagles fans want to have a conversation about their Philadelphia Eagles. You'd be amazed. I'm telling you. You a weird-ass fan base.
Sunday. Chargers going to Baltimore at 1 o'clock. Super unfair. The West Coast team, when you're playing games on Saturday at 4:40, you're starting them, right? 4 o'clock, I think the game on Saturday is starting, the first game, or something like that.
That's
maybe.
the second game. The first game's starting at 1 o'clock.
No, on Saturday. What's the first game on Saturday? What time?
It's like 4 something.
Okay,
4:30
so
or something.
they should have put that game.
Yep.
They should have put the Chargers on that, and then they could have put the Indianapolis-Houston game at 1 o'clock on Sunday. That would have been more fair to the Chargers, but what does the NFL care about fair?
They wanted to put, one good game on each day, so I guess that's what they had to do.
Who you got?
They just moved the Chargers to the late game.
12 wins for the Chargers this year. And they're still the 5th seed, having to go on the road at 1 o'clock to the East Coast. Baltimore ended on 7-1, Lamar Jackson. I'm excited for this one. I think this is going to be another good game. I think, all the whole weekend.
No, you were about to say the correct thing. There's only 2 really good games going on. The other 2, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited.
You're hopeful for Texans Colts to be a good game.
I like both teams.
Nobody thinks the Eagles and the Bears game is gonna be a good game. Stop being an Eagles homer and step outside your bubble for 5 seconds.
Well, no, I have to hope that's a good game. That's fine.
Right. That's outside. Yeah. Anyway, you're hopeful for one of those.
I took Baltimore.
Of course you did. I want the Chargers. Look, they got holes. They got holes in the scheduling. They got holes in this, and the fact that they're in the division that they're in. Come on, they deserve one. Let them get this W. Baltimore don't need this. Baltimore does not need this W. I keep saying San Diego. The Chargers need this W.
The thing with the AFC
they
is
deserve to have this W.
That it's wide open. You got the 6th seed coming in on a 9-game winning streak, or 8 of 9 wins, or whatever it was for the Colts. The Texans won 12 of the last, what was it, 14 or 13, whatever it was. And LA has won 12. Baltimore 7-1. So all these teams feel like they could win not just this week, but they could go and beat New England and Kansas City. So everybody in the AFC feels like they have an opportunity right now.
Wide open.
It is. That's insane. And to think that this game right here, the Chargers in Baltimore, are amongst two of the better teams in the AFC. I mean, a lot of people would put them right up there with New England, or maybe better than New England. And the Chargers have beaten Kansas City. So
yeah, either one of those teams can beat either one of those teams.
In Kansas City or in New England, at
this point, yeah.
That's crazy. So that's a fun place to be in.
Shout out to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Fucked it up for everybody. I'm not wrong.
Philadelphia or Chicago?
Man, this is the worst game of the weekend. It really is. Not just because I don't like the Eagles, just because this is the most uninteresting matchup. It really, really, really is. I got the Bears. It's because their defense is
their defense is off the chain. Obviously,
they should also be going after Nick Foles all day, just like we're going after Russell all day. Problem is Nick Foles ain't running nowhere, so I wonder if it's just gonna be sack city up in Chicago.
Yeah, and the Eagles' the Eagles' offensive line has played a lot better over the last 4 or 5 weeks than they did all season. The Cowboys game was not good, but they played well against the Rams, who have a great defensive line, and they played really well against the Texans, who have a great defensive line. I hope that continues to hold up in this one.
We've been stopping Khalil Mack.
Right, and I don't disagree with that. The other side of it is the Eagles' defense needs to play as well as they have as of late as well. There's a lot. They didn't, if they are the Eagles of the beginning of the season, they have no shot here. It is the biggest line of the weekend for a reason, though. I mean, Chicago is a really talented team. 12 wins. They were one step away from having a bye week.
The Bears want to win this game. They got to dominate defensively like they have been. If the Eagles want to win this game, they're going to have to rely on
Big Stick Nick.
Literally, which they have been. So
Magic.
I'm more so taking that entire Chicago Bears defense at this point.
So let me ask you. We talked about the AFC being wide open.
Which it wasn't at one point, but yeah.
The NFC, you still feel top heavy.
Extremely.
New Orleans, the Rams, maybe Chicago still.
Yeah, it's not even. I'll tell you what, nobody that's winning this weekend is going to be around the following weekend.
In the NFC?
No.
Okay.
No. There's no way.
Who are you picking Super Bowl?
I guess I need to revise it because the Steelers aren't even in it.
Right.
I'll stick with the Rams. I won't be mad at Cowboys. I won't be mad at Saints, unless they beat us. But I'll go Rams. AFC. I can't even go with Chiefs. I can't at this point.
Chargers, Baltimore, Colts, Houston.
I want to.
Chiefs,
I'd root for
New
the Chargers.
England.
Just I'd like to see them get there. That'd be nice. I don't think it's gonna happen. I guess by default I'll say Chiefs, but that's such an easy decision to make.
I'm taking New Orleans.
Let's go with Chargers. Just be a dick.
I'm taking New Orleans.
So Chargers, Rams. It's not happening. Rams is happening.
I'm going to take New Orleans out of the NFC.
Yeah, Ravens. Patriots. You're such a homer.
Taking the Patriots.
Talk about uninteresting. You're such a homer. You ever waver from Tom Brady's?
So I thought about it, and I've been...
Ever. Do you ever waver from him? Ever. No. The answer is no.
9 straight AFC Championship appearances, Dwight. Until he proves me wrong, I'm going to have to.
Well, now I'm going to have to pick him next week, too.
But I was the one who said that this is as wide open as it gets. So I'm not, I'm not disagreeing that can happen.
Answer.
Huh?
But you made such a definitive answer. It seemed like it was a natural, easy decision to make. So what you mean is wide
It was
open.
not natural and easy. It's just I just keep just going back to it. Every time I come to a reason of why I think another team will do it, I'm like, yeah, but the Patriots in the playoffs. Yeah, but the Patriots in the playoffs. Yeah, but the Patriots in the playoffs.
I guess I'm going back to my. I'll go. You know what? I'll retract my Super Bowl thing. I'm going back to my preseason prediction in July of last year. Rams, just give them the championship. Philly, hand over the championship. Just hand it to them. I said that in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
And that's most likely what's going to happen.
We will see.
That's what I'm going with. I'm sticking with that.
Speaking of the Patriots we were just talking about, I heard a quote the other day. They were talking about Tom Brady He had a conversation about, this is back in 2015. It was during Deflategate. They were talking about his text. One of his conversations, it was talking about Peyton Manning, how Peyton Manning was retired soon, but how Tom felt like he could play another 7 or 8 years. So I did the math, okay? That would put him at 2022 or 2023. That means he would still have 2 or 3 full seasons, maybe 4 full seasons left in him. Do you think that is possible?
No.
I don't either.
It's not happening.
And that's why I was thinking, like, man, maybe he shot that a little far, because I think that within 2 or 3 years he's going to have to call it quits if he continues.
It's alright.
But
it
then,
showed shot size this year.
That's why I keep going back to, he has to show it to me. I'm not saying that they don't make it to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't, but it's just hard for me to see them not being the team to represent the AFC.
I think I'm finally on that. Well, it's not just finally. No, I don't want to see him in the Super Bowl this year. I'm over it.
Well, a lot of people say that. I'm not worried about that. I mean, it's whatever.
I'm tired of it. Let's move on.
I want to see the Eagles in it and everybody else. I don't care who's in it after that. I'd rather not see Dallas in it, but that's the only team that I would say I'd rather not see in it.
I'm over Brady's. I'm over the Patriots on Super Bowl. Let's move on.
Well, we will see. I'm excited for the playoffs. I think it's going to be a very interesting playoffs overall. Dwight?
Yes, sir.
It's almost basketball time to talk about.
It is almost basketball time.
I know you love that.
I do love that. I'd love it better if my star king would... we'll get there.
We'll have national championship to talk about next week. Free agents in baseball still not signed. That might happen soon, apparently. I doubt it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs, obviously, to recap. So
Royal Rumble's coming.
Royal Rumble's
coming.
Yeah, so Dwight, wow, back in it just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Till next time, thank you.